Hello, everybody. Welcome. And this is the Building Mental Wealth for a Post-Pandemic World and Uncertain Economic Times. My name is Anthony Ware, and I'm grateful that you made the choice to invest in yourself and start this or continue on your path of creating generational joy and mental wealth and all the things that you want to see in the world for your life and for the lives of those that you love. So let's go ahead and get into this presentation. Just the intro, just going to give a quick overview before you jump into the meat of the course. Okay, as I said, this is who I am, and if you want to find out more about me, there's links. There'll be links in the upcoming slides. So before we get into anything, I'd love for you to type in the comments what you're grateful for today. And you can hit pause before I go on, and I'll kind of pause here in the video for you. But what are you grateful for today? For me, I'm grateful for technology, and not just the technology for me to create this, this training, but more so the technology that allows me to pick up a phone, call my dad, call my brother, call my good friends, and stay in communication with them. I mean, we come a long way since having to dial the operator. So I'll hit pause, go ahead and hit pause, and then come right back. All right, so you're back. And you'll see this theme throughout all of the training is that I want you to be able to make space and be present for yourself. If you're a parent, you may have to even lock the bathroom door while you're watching this, or lock the closet door so the kids don't interrupt you. But truly, when you're giving yourself being present for whatever you're doing, this training, conversation with a friend, work that you're doing for your career, any of those things, but giving yourself this gift of presence. So the present of presence is not only for yourself, but for your inner child and for the person that you are being and becoming. And with that in mind too, is keeping in mind that this is not therapy. This is not mental health service. This may be therapeutic, but more so this is a complement to anything that you do. And as we talk through some of these topics, they can get heavy. And they may bring up stir up things inside of you. So it's okay to take a break from, hit pause, come back. This is, back to technology. It's still going to be here. It's going to pick up where you left off. But more important is that if you need help, reach out and to professional help to get that. And I'll make sure to include within this whole training, I'll make sure to start to include the resources for you so that you can find the help that you need. Especially in a moment of crisis, that you're not alone. Like truly, that it may be overused, but it doesn't make it less true. There are people that can help, and organizations, and yeah. So again, making sure that your health is the number one priority. So who am I? I've said a lot. Really, this is what I like to say is the top half of this bullet list is what you'd see on LinkedIn. And the bottom half of this list is truly like an encapsulation of my life. We always like to talk about the good things that we've done and like our career and all that. But truly, like one of the greatest joys I've ever had was teaching yoga to adults and kids outside of working in corporate America and starting my own companies and that stuff. But it's and then traveling to be able to learn from different cultures. But at the same time, I've had my own life challenges as well. So whether it's, the death of my grandfather on my 10th birthday, or my youngest brother dying by suicide. And then most recently I had, blood clots in my lungs. And fortunately enough, I was able to survive through that. So we are all this complex thing and this complex experience being the humanity. So back to centering on you. How are you feeling today? And you can hit pause. I'll show you a larger version of this. So how are you feeling today? Like pick your words, press pause, and you can be both happy and angry at the same time. You can be surprised and fearful. You can go deeper into the wheel, but this is something that you can use right off the bat. This is a tool that you can use to start to dive deeper into yourself and what you're feeling. So hit pause. pick 1 or 2 words and type it in the comments if you want. You don't have to, but at least type it in your own, write it in your own journal, or in your notes for this class. All right, here's our flow for today. For this, if I say for today, but our flow for this intro section is truly. I'm just going to give you to set the context so that we're all kind of level set on the same page as you're going through this training, and kicking off, like what's one thing you've done for yourself in the last month that's solely for you? I want you to think about that. And the reason why is, again, I'm getting you to focus on you. These are just little steps. And this is something you can put in your journal, or a weekly check-in for yourself too. All about you, but it's not AI. It actually should be all about you. But we're going to roll with this because it's more important that you get these practices together. So thinking of mental wealth and the elephant, and I want to say the elephants. I love elephants, but thinking in terms of, I'm going to talk about mental wealth here, and mental wealth, and the context of the elephants is the elephant in the room that we don't like talking about. And so mental health truly is something, oftentimes it's talked about, I need to focus on my mental health. I need to do this or something happening. Mental health, from the time we're born to the time we die, just like our physical health, we have it. It is our health. And the thing that changes, what happens is things happen within us and outside us to create changes in the state of our mental health. And so when you're thinking of mental wealth, it's those things that we do to make a positive impact. Whether it's you taking this training right now, or you just spent quality time with your kids, or just took your dog for a walk, or just came back from the spa, or just decided to cancel all your meetings today and take just a personal day to sit in veg and read your own your favorite book. So when you think of mental wealth, it's a compounding, just like we talk about, if you got, $10 every day and it exponentially increased, that's you're building financial wealth, or 10 euros every day. It's, you're building, financial wealth. So same thing. And then the mental wealth deposits are just the little things along the way. And so an example of mental wealth deposits, here's a few for you, but there's many more. As I mentioned, taking the training, or, therapy, by the way, is for good and challenging times. It's just like having somebody to help you become a better version of you and work through things in the only way that a therapist can. Your morning rituals: get up at 5, drink your lemon water, do some jump rope, write in your journal. But all these things. So as you can see, like mental wealth deposits, there's so many of them. But let's get to this pandemic piece real quick, because this is important. Pre-pandemic, we were singing on, I think this is one of those late night shows, they were singing on airplanes and jamming. Then the pandemic happened and life became really, like we had to stay home. There's a fear of like catching, COVID, and really like, what's not been talked about a lot is the strain on our mental health, and the challenging pieces that it put to it. And ultimately, when we get to this, we're moving into a post-pandemic world, but we're not there yet. But realizing, like, unless you're about 100+ years old or somewhere around there, you haven't lived through a pandemic and the aftermath of a pandemic. And so anybody that says that they absolutely know what you need to do to get through this and work through it, they're lying, or they don't really know what they're talking about. And that's why I try to preface this, like, these are practices you can use, but you have to kind of like roll with what's happening and adjust along the way. Because we're all just seriously making this up as we go and trying our best with the best information we have at hand. And as far as like getting mental health help and help with your the state of your mental health, there's so many things that even the mental health providers, they're overwhelmed and they need help, and they don't really have time to even book their own self. So if you're looking for a therapist, side note, if you're looking to get into therapy and they're booked up 3 or 4 months, that's just the reality of things. Be patient, work through it, and make sure you get the help you need. I wanted to just ground this in a little bit more data too. So just here's some data around like what's happening. So there's increase in anxiety and depression. So if that's you, you're feeling it. We're all feeling it. From a business standpoint, if you're a business owner, or if your business doesn't help you focus on doing good things for your mental health, it's a business case. You can make a business case for it. But anyway, I just wanted to give you some grounding in that, and understanding that, the state of our mental health impacts everything we do. It's not just about like not being able to function with socially, but like everything we do. And just to kind of ground you again, these are the mental wealth pieces, challenges to it, and wanted to cue in on a couple things. So imposter syndrome and burnout. Realizing that if you could think of someone who's lived your exact life, there is no one. It's only you. There's only one you. So if you get wrapped up in this imposter syndrome piece, it's just like a dog chasing a tail. You're never going to catch it, or if you do, you're kind of lucky, but you're always trying to be something that somebody else wants you to be, as opposed to yourself. And so looking at systemically and culturally, and there's all these things that are contributors to it. But ultimately for you, getting part of this whole training is to actually help you get to unwrap from some of that and to start to work to consistently be grounded in who you are. And imposter syndrome ultimately is something that it truly goes away, because you're comparing yourself to yourself. And then the other piece is burnout. This is something that, again, burnout isn't a light switch. You're not like fine one day, burnout the next. Really, there's like 5, and I'll show you the 12. But ultimately, burnout is a progression, and it gets worse as it goes. Ultimately, you think you're getting through it, but it could lead to hospitalization or even worse. But along the way, there's all these things that happen. And just to give you the context again, the burnout is real. So what we're going to work through over these next segments is this framework, and it's mental. And the first 3 are all about you. And then the second 3, so team, adjust, and legacy, are really about like how you interact with the world. And so again, you'll notice that getting grounded on you is the key to this. And this is how it kind of looks. If you look at the right, from the left to the right, we focus on you, and then make adjustments. We're going to go back and forth. We're constantly making adjustments. And then we're finding your legacy, and we'll get to that. But thinking of, we talk a lot about generational trauma, but there's also the other piece of that is there's opportunities to create generational joy. So that's it for the intro. I know that was a lot of information, but again, I wanted to get you grounded in like this thing. And it's not just as simple as a light switch, like with burnout, or thinking of, oh, I can focus on my mental health at some point in time. Mental wealth is a constant thing. It's a constant thing. And all these practices are going to help you create your toolkit that you can evolve along the way too. So up next is Mind Your Matters. And I'm excited for you to continue on. And that is it. We are going to stop sharing here for the intro and go ahead and make your way to the next section.